We're good to hear.
Thank you.
Lincoln.
Good evening, everybody. We are going to call this meeting to order at 6 o'clock. And so we're going to open with the flag salute. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Doing a roll call, we have four board members with us for quorum tonight. Jumping down to 2.0, the continuation of complaint against board chair. So this special meeting was called so that the board could clarify its next steps in the consideration of the complaint against Chair Brumble. Although the board voted on Monday night to schedule an executive session for December 18th to consider that complaint, some of us then learned that our legal counsel had already retained the services of a professional investigator, Keith Ussery, to investigate certain concerns relating to the high school girls volleyball team. Since Chair Brumble and Cheyenne Edgerly both requested investigation into the complaint against Chair Brumble, a suggestion was made that we could ask Mr. Ussery to include that complaint in the matter he is already investigating. This would help reduce the need for multiple interviews of the same witnesses, would provide the board with a comprehensive report of findings of fact that can be considered at the December 18th board meeting, and would avoid the need for a full hearing by the board with witnesses and evidence. Even with the investigative reports, the board could still request to hear directly from any party or witness to the complaint if it feels the need to do so. Mr. Ussery has served as a deputy superintendent, director of school improvement, high school principal, assistant principal, teacher, and coach, and now devotes his professional investigative practice solely to education investigations. He seems uniquely suited to investigate this complaint. I understand that Chair Brumble has recused herself from participating in this matter because she is the subject of the complaint, and that Cheyenne Edgerly also intends to recuse herself from this matter. Cheyenne, is that correct?
That is correct.
That leaves us with 3 board members to discuss and vote on whether to refer this complaint for investigation by Mr. Ussery. So to carry a motion, the vote must be unanimous amongst the 3 of us. Is there any discussion or a motion?
Madam Chair, there is also a reference in policy KLAR to the board hiring an investigator in the case of a complaint like this. So I think that's kind of how the policy envisions all this laying out. It's just rather convenient that Mr. Ussery is already engaged in this exact same conversation. So let's make the most of our resources. I move to direct the district's legal counsel to retain Keith Ussery as a third-party investigator to investigate the complaint pending against Board Chair Jessica Brumble with the following directive to Mr. Ussery: that he investigate whether the allegations against Chair Brumble are true, and if so, whether she engaged in such conduct in her role as parent or in her role as a school board member. And that he take all reasonable measures to minimize the identification of any minor students who may be named in the complaint or who may be witnesses to the events alleged in the complaint, including but not limited to using an identification key to protect the identities of any minor student named in his report.
Do we put a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Please note that that was 3-0.
I also want to note that everybody can see I'm reading from my phone, and the reason I'm reading from my phone is because that motion was drafted by legal counsel, and so I was reading legal counsel's motion into the record.
Okay. Thank you. And I think at this point, we can now adjourn our meeting. This meeting is adjourned 6:04.